All right, back to work. Meta earnings are out, and the way these charts look right now, it smells a bit like a reversal coming for tomorrow. I have 3 reversal trades I'm tracking for tomorrow morning. By the time we're done tonight, you'll have an easy roadmap to make some money as well. Before we jump in, though, I'll talk my favorite trades for what could be a fantastic Thursday tomorrow morning. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video, so make sure you subscribe. And if you like these, if you enjoy these videos, hit that like button for me. Give me a shout out. Give me a hell yeah down in the comments section below. Thank you so much for tuning in, supporting the channel. Enough of the intro though, Joe. Let's go make some money on what could be a very good Thursday trading session. Now, charts are all ready to go here, as you can see. Get the Nasdaq, triple Qs are all ready. All the E-mini and the SPY is ready. Starting off tonight on the 60-minute time frame. We talked about last night, we mentioned how the buyers got this gift, this nice strong jump up off the 21 EMA. 24 hours ago, the buyers had all the control of this momentum, and boy, are we in a critical spot right now as we pull back to the low of this bull channel after the Meta earnings come out this afternoon. Boy, the buyers have a great spot right now. They got to hold the lows of this channel. But I'll tell you right now, the tick charts tonight, when you see the tick charts for tomorrow, the tick charts don't make it look very easy for these buyers. And if they can't get this thing to roll, we might roll all the way back down to retest those big recent lows here. So we have a lot to cover in a very important video here tonight. Before we dive into the tick charts tell a very different story right now. Before we dive into those tick charts, though, let's schedule for tomorrow. We got 2 things on the radar for tomorrow. First, of course, is this big GDP number coming out at 8:30 Eastern time. That's definitely the big news we know about tomorrow morning. And of course, we got tomorrow afternoon. We got more big earnings coming tomorrow afternoon. Today was the appetizer from Meta. Meta is a $1.5 trillion market cap. Tomorrow afternoon, Microsoft, Alphabet, a nearly $6 trillion market cap behemoth. Earnings reports coming out tomorrow afternoon. Microsoft, Alphabet. Remember, anytime we got big earnings late in the day, be careful. Late afternoon, markets do tend to move into the close. So be aware of that tomorrow. But by the time we're done tomorrow night, we'll have reported a big chunk of the entire market cap for earnings season. So big next 24 hours here. So be aware of that GDP report tomorrow morning. And again, everybody waiting now for that huge earnings coming out tomorrow afternoon from Microsoft and Alphabet. Back to our charts though, right? Because the money is made on the charts. It's good to know when the news is scheduled. But let's talk about trades here for tomorrow. Let's start first with the S&P and the SPY. And we'll finish tonight, of course, on the Nasdaq and the triple Qs. I mentioned earlier that the buyers, right? Buyers had this thing nice and pumping, and they're really on. They're at a great spot right now to hold this and really confirm and solidify that reversal going higher. But the tick charts are not making it very easy right now on these buyers. There are 2 really important clues right now on the tick charts. And really, I have 3 different reversal trades I'm tracking for tomorrow. We'll cover one of them here right now. We'll go 2 and 3 as we go deeper into the video. So if you like making money, I would definitely make sure you watch all the way to the end. First of all, most important clue right now on the tick charts, strong moves up and down. Strong moves up and down. Now, in our free video classes, we talk about strong moves, right? Anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we expect a pull back and a retest of that high. Most importantly, though, recency. Recency is really important. The most recent move was going lower in the wake of the Meta earnings here this afternoon. That strong move says expect another leg in the same direction. More importantly, anytime we see a news move, we call these news spikes. The size of that news spike can be used as a measuring move. So 2 strong moves. We know the buyers want to go back up and retest that high. But again, most importantly, the sellers have most recent a strong move. Expect there to be another leg in the same direction. And usually it's about symmetrical, right? So we'll keep that on our radar for tomorrow. So knowing those strong moves, let's talk about that first of 3 different reversal trades I'm tracking for tomorrow. And this is kind of an easy one, right? We love to short some bounces right now. I've done my channel off the lows, up around that high, trend line coming down off that high. We know we have that strong move going higher, so we expect these buyers are going to try to run back up. And I would love to use one of those failure into bull trap combinations, right? So failure, Buyers once up here, buyers twice up here. Trap those buyers in. Use those stops to run back down again. And of course, as it rolls back lower, think about those bull trap patterns. Lower low in price and move just above that prior high, right? So think about that sequence. Again, buyers have that strong run up. Hopefully they'll pop this thing higher, trying to retest the high, and we can trap them in, right? Trap them in off levels of resistance. Use those failure patterns and those bull trap patterns we talk so much about in the free trading course. And again, think about, right, that previous range down here, 50.37 on the S&P. We'll grab in the Nasdaq in a moment as some good targets going lower here. Now, this sequence could really be anywhere. Could be here, could be here, could be here. It doesn't really matter, right? So we may go up and double top up and 1, 2, basically the bull trap, right? Technically though, this would be a buyer failure. We take out that high. Remember, think about this, right? We know the buyers are trying to retest that high right now, right? This is a horrible spot to buy. Let's get up, high up, right? Then get the rookies chasing it. 1, 2. Reason why I wait for 2 tries up here is because I want to get those stops juiced, right, and run that thing back down again. It's simply a buyer failure pattern off the high, and of course in a bull trap pattern, exactly we teach, of course, in the free video course, right? Buyer failure and that trap. Now, let's talk about one variation of this, all right? Because this is kind of the sequence I'm looking for here for tomorrow. But you know what? Sometimes we don't get that buyer failure. You know, sometimes it runs up and gets whacked right back down again and begins to grind going lower. We know that anytime we see a V top like that, yeah, again, I want a short up here. I like the idea of that short, but I may not get that. I may not get that 1, 2 back down again, right? If this thing gets whacked off that high nice and strong and begins to grind down, these are my favorites, right? Love the pop and grinds. We simply draw a trend line off that low, we bring it down off that high, and what do? We look left, get above prior swings, right? Above prior swings, and look for the entries off the top of that channel. Now, this could be a bull trap, like we're showing right here. Oftentimes, these will be above the moving average for a failure pattern off the 21 EMA, and of course, a run back down into a pullback pattern, into a bull trap pattern right off of that high, right? This will make a lot more sense, obviously, if you guys are going through our free video class, which reminds me, let's slow down for a second. I know that most of you guys watching right now, you know how to draw failures, you know how to trade traps, making money with this stuff on your own. But if you're watching for the first time right now, this might be a brand new language for you. What are bull traps? What are buyer failures? How do we use strong moves? Don't you worry. I teach all these entry patterns. I have hundreds, if not more than hundreds, of examples of all these trade ideas, all covered in a ton more detail in our free video classes. I'll put a link up top here for you. Don't you worry. Link up top there. Hit that link that popped up right there and take that free trading course, because the strategy I teach in that short video series will teach you a simple trick we use in our members trade room to know exactly where the best winning trades are going to be each day. Then I want to help you start making money on your own. I'll teach you 4 my favorite entry patterns. You'll learn traps, failures, and a whole lot more. Guys, if you're not making consistent money right now, if you're tired of missing the best trades each day, if you still can't qualify for a funded account at Apex or Top Step, hit that link, take that free course. Perfect for someone who's trying to make the jump into full-time trading, give you an easy roadmap to find lots of winning trades each week. And also, too, keep in mind, too, I'm going to put all the important links tonight. We talk about the description of the YouTube video, put the free class links down there. We trade together every morning in our trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'll put all of that information in the description as well. And also, too, I post a lot of updates on Twitter or X during the day. If you're on X or Twitter, give me a follow. All the details there, the description of the YouTube video. But that's where you can learn more about the entry patterns. And again, a lot of examples we'll talk about tonight are covered in that free video course. So again, as we roll over, get those buyers trapped in with those failures into those bull trap patterns I mentioned a moment ago. Now, that was one of the 3 different reversal trades I'm tracking for tomorrow. Let's cover 2 more on the Nasdaq right now. Nas is getting a bit lonely over here. Of course, Nasdaq is very similar to the S&P, as you can imagine. Over on the Nasdaq 60-minute time frame, we've been bearish for weeks and weeks and weeks. We mentioned last night the buyers were successful at taking control of momentum, but as we talked about last night, we weren't quite sure if they could hold this. And we know right now, right, the buyers are in a perfect spot right now. They have to hold this, right? If they can't hold this, we're going to end up rolling all the way back down, because we know anytime we see a strong move down, what do we expect? A pullback and a retest of that low. So what a critical area right now for these buyers. And of course, this meta earnings certainly did not make their job easy. The tick charts, though, this is a 4,000 tick chart. You can always see the time frames in the upper left-hand corner. And if you're watching for the first time right now, as always, that is the 21 EMA. Pretty much the only indicator you need to find lots of winning trades each week with us in our trade room. Look at the chart, the tick charts though on the Nasdaq, right? This looks a hell of a lot more bearish than it did on the S&P. Same basic idea, right? Same basic idea. We have a strong big bull run up. We know the buyers would love to go back up and retest the high. Hopefully they do try to go back and retest the high. But what's most recent? Look at what's most recent. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. That strong move going down. Recency is always more important. And again, we know that anytime we have a big news move like this, the size of that leg can be then used as a target going lower. Ultimately here right now, the bears want one thing. The bears want to go right back into that big range underneath us, right? The bears want to get back to that 17,300. We mentioned the range level on the S&P here a few moments ago, but that's the idea here on the Nasdaq, the target going lower here. We talked about earlier on the S&P, we talked about how we love to get that price to pop up, get those buyers trapped in with those failure patterns, run lower with that, what was it called again? A bull trap pattern, that lower low in price, and that move right back above that high. Again, we mentioned it here off the channel, double tops, retest. Okay, that's the same game plan we have right now on the Nasdaq as well. But that's only one of the plans for tomorrow. Let's cover two more here right now. First of all, we may not pull back. We may not pull back. We got that big move down on the 60-minute time frame. We may end up continuing to run lower. Let's think about this now. If this thing starts to sell off here overnight, what's the best way to short this thing if it keeps selling off overnight? It will always be a bull trap, because bull traps are going to help us get in as high as possible. So if this thing keeps on grinding down, and the S&P as well, if we keep grinding down here right now, the way you short this is to look for, again, it's that lower low in price and that bull trap above that high, because that will get us in as high as possible. Now, that's the most aggressive way to short this. A much easier way to short this would be if we keep grinding down. Think about that pop and grind I mentioned earlier. On the S&P, we talked about going up, right, up, and then back down and grinding down like that, right? We may run lower here and begin to grind down like that. That's okay too. Just simply draw a trend line off the lows, bring it up around these highs here. And as always, I always like to look left, find some of these prior swing highs, and look for like a bull trap above that prior swing high. Moving average comes down. We get above the moving average. We trap those buyers in with that failure pattern we talked about. And again, it could be failure into pullback combination. My favorites are always failures into bear trap combinations, right, on the way back down again, right? So think about that pop and grind as we go. Now, I mentioned earlier the size of that kind of news spike leg would be a measuring leg, right? So if we get this pop and grind going lower, think about the deepest part of that pullback, and that will give you that measuring leg, that measured move I mentioned a few moments ago earlier, right? So think about the deepest part of that pullback, the size of that leg down, that's your measuring spike, because the news spike, and we'll project that down there and give us a good spot for a good target as we go lower. So the second way, the second kind of reversal trade I'm watching for tomorrow is if we continue. Draw off those lows. We call these pop and grind moves in our trade room. A lot of examples of these inside the free trading course. Again, we connect those lows up around that high, Remember, guys, we don't pick tops and bottoms, right? We don't pick the top on that. I'm not going to blindly sell into that high, right? I'm not going to blindly sell anything or buy anything, right? I'm going to wait for those buyers to get trapped in. I'll wait for a good signal. And again, you'll learn the entry signals in the free trading course. So buyer failure, grab that bull trap, and think about that measured move target I mentioned a moment ago. One last setup is going sideways. We got big news, big earnings tomorrow afternoon. I don't think anybody will be totally shocked if we start going sideways here for tomorrow. Now, if we go sideways, there are two really, really easy trades to look for. The first one is to find levels of resistance above and basically short off those levels of resistance. This could be a prior swing level like these. It could also be a big channel coming down like that. The bottom line, though, is I want to get popping up. Remember, it's a bear market in this scenario. Ranges, which you guys learn in the free video courses, ranges act like a magnet. And so if we go sideways in a range like this, I want to find levels of resistance above. And again, it could be that big trend line coming down overhead. Find that level of resistance. Get that price to pop up. And again, remember, we're not going to pick the tops and bottoms, right? That's a rookie mistake. Wait for this to pop up. Let those, speaking of rookies, let those inexperienced traders chase after it. And once they commit, use that failure into pullback combination. My favorite, of course, is that failure into that bull trap combo going back down. Now remember, ranges love to rotate, right? Ranges love to rotate. So the amount above that range, project down below that range, that becomes your big target. What I always do in the trade room is I'll take half off at the low of that range. Then there's usually going to be some trend line down here somewhere, quarter off right there, and leave the final quarter for the runner down around that pendulum swing. Does that make sense? Get up above the top of that range, get into some level of resistance. That's the key. Use those buyer failures to trap in the rookies, use their stops to fuel the move back down. And then again, look for that bull trap pattern, that lower low in price, the trap high as it finishes off that rotation. Target off at the low, leave that runner down to the low of that pendulum swing. Now, there's one more trade you want to keep in mind here on a trading range. Let's drag this up a little bit here and talk more about it. Oftentimes, you'll get that range. You'll get that breakout. We'll get those buyers trapped in. The failure pattern to pull back combo. We'll get that run lower. And what happens is once it exceeds that pendulum swing, that pendulum is kind of like the boundary, right, of that trading range. Sometimes it holds. We get a crown reversal pattern, a bear trap off of that low, right? Sometimes the bears will try once, bears try twice, bear trap right off of that low. Again, it's an overall bear move right now, so be careful on those bear traps, half size position, quarter size position off of that low. But the most important thing is if we continue running lower, if we break through that pendulum swing, now we begin to look at a breakout pullback. Now the underbelly of that trading range now comes in, and what I do is I'll look left, find some trend lines, mark off that high, and think about that breakout pullback, right? That breakout pullback off the underbelly of that trading range. Again, to keep it simple here, we get the range, right? We either go up and back down, we break through that pendulum swing. Very, very important. It breaks through the pendulum swing. Okay, that gives us clarity now. This range is now for a breakout pullback. We look left, we mark off the underbelly of that range, and what I always do is I go out and try to find channels like this, right? Some other trend line I can use resistance and look for that pullback. Now remember, we're not going to pick the top on that, right? We don't just sell the underbelly. We don't just sell at resistance. We try to get above, at least I do, I try to get above the moving average and use those failure patterns we keep talking about to trap the buyers in and short back down again from there. All right. It may also go sideways here. It doesn't have to go higher first. It may go sideways here. We may then break down, right? Break down. Don't chase it going lower. Want to sell high. Whenever we see a range breakout, think about the underbelly of that range. Wait for that. Maybe a two-legged pullback we talked about last night on the video, right? A little bit more than a measured move. The bottom line, though, is get below the range, get above the moving average, and use those buyer failures to keep that sucker running from there. Now, one really important thing about range breakouts is the size of the breakout leg is the measuring leg, okay? Very, very important because, well, why is it important? Because once you know the size of that breakout leg, now you know where to leave your final target. Remember, if you want to make more money, don't trade more often, don't trade more markets, don't trade more frequently, just get better at being disciplined to let your trades work for you. Now, easier said than done, right? You have to know how these markets work, and I think we do a pretty good job here in these videos. We go to a lot more detail in the video classes, the free courses, and of course, in our trade every morning. But that's the way you know where the market wants to go once you have a range breakout, right? The breakout leg is the measuring leg. Look back here, right? Here's a range you saw from this morning, right? There's your breakout leg. Is there any surprise? Look where it went. Right? Breakout leg is the measuring leg. Breakout leg is the measuring leg. Even during big news reactions, that technique still holds up pretty well. So keep an eye out for those ranges. The ranges are pretty easy, right? Get above the range for bull traps. Look for those breakout pullbacks going below. All right, those are the three trade setups, the three strategies I'm watching for tomorrow. Now, don't forget, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, come trade it with us. The easiest way to start making consistent money in these markets is to learn this stuff and trade with me every morning at the opening bell in our trade room. I'll put all the important links. I would definitely recommend start first with the free video classes. Get a good foundation, learn the setups, right? Get that under your belt, and hopefully sometime soon I'll see you trading with us in the morning room, 8 o'clock Eastern time with all the advanced members. Questions, comments, concerns, any challenge, any difficulties getting started, please don't be afraid to call the office. You can always use live chat as well. We're always here standing by to help out every step of the process. All right, guys, a fantastic day today. Been a really good week here, this kind of second week of earnings. We got more big winners coming tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning trading with us in the morning trade room. If not, same time, same place tomorrow night, and we'll do it all again. In the meantime, be well, be nice to each other out there, and you better be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.